It's no goddamn way, fool. It's no way. We about to change our name to Simp Nation. 2.63 billion on OF. Y'all boys weird, fool. And then you got the UK spending 500K. But nigga, 2.63 billion?
So some birds actually are drones. Because what is that? I've never seen a bird have a camera come out of its back.
But they just released some more pictures from the Epstein files. And let me start by saying this. They all strange. So in these pictures, you got Donald Trump. You got Woody Allen. You got Bill Clinton. You got Richard Branson. And you got a group of other people. So they released 19. We're going to go over a couple of them. You got Trump and Epstein at some sort of engagement. Then you got Trump standing with a group of women. And of course, they covered their face for privacy.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here to the channel, you guys don't know what we do, don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you guys. We talk about the most scariest and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, unusual, and unexplained you can find here on this channel. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Say it with me, y'all. Seek the truth.
To change the way you see things. This map shows only domestic flights within every country, so you could see where people are flying the most close by. This map shows the GDP per capita by country in Western Asia. Qatar has the highest with 72,000. Yemen has the lowest with 455. This map shows the amphibian diversity in the United States, with a majority of it being basically the Bible Belt in the south. This map shows the mammal diversity in the United States, a lot of it being in the southwest. This map shows the tree diversity in the United States, which is actually pretty crazy that the South has way more diversity than the entire West Coast. This map shows the share around the world of all bankruptcies that are caused by medical issues in each country. And the United States, y'all can handle that one in the comments. This map shows the percentage of people in each U.S. state who have been married 3 or more times. Washington, D.C. is the lowest with 0.8%, and Arkansas is the highest with 7.6%.
How does this bird have a camera sticking out of its back? Check this out. So some birds actually are drones.
What the hell?
Because what is that? I've never seen a bird have a camera come out of its back. Stay weird.
Pigeon
There is
theory.
another alleged update on 3i Atlas. Yes, interstellar object 3i Atlas. What is it all about? Let me tell you. The alleged date that has been set for the cosmic rendezvous with 3i Atlas is December 19th of 2025. The pass by Mother Earth is expected to be at 1.8 astronomical units. There are even some that are claiming that this flyby is by no coincidence, that this is some sort of communication from 3i Atlas to Mother Earth. And there are also some claims putting this into perspective by saying it's like sinking a three-pointer. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
I'll be ready.
Peed on an electric fence. Could the electricity travel up the stream and kill you? Well, as the pee leaves your body, the stream actually breaks into separate droplets almost right away. And since they technically aren't connected, the electricity can't travel through them and back up to you. Now, if you got super close and peed really hard, the stream would hold together long enough for the electricity to climb up. But the fence's electricity would only be strong enough for a quick little sting.
I dare
Who
you to
would
watch
do
this
that?
video of this massive animatronic sinking down into the water. It's about 7 feet tall, by the way. Look at the bubbles.
Bye-bye.
Oh, look at the bubbles. Oh my god, it's going completely submerged. Ah! Now, I've already talked about this thing multiple times. This is how big it is in comparison to a human. But yes, this is the Murray Bridge Bunyip that is in Australia. You pay 20 cents for it to pop out, and it is the plague of my nightmares. I know I made a video about it just the other day, but that video that I just found of it completely being submerged, that's going to be on my mind for the foreseeable future. Just look how vile this thing is. Oh my god. Let me know if you're scared of it or if I'm being dramatic, once again, because my entire channel is full of me being dramatic, apparently. But, you know, if you're creeped out by this, you have submechanophobia, which is a fear of large man-made things underwater. Not even necessarily large, but welcome to the club.
Did y'all know that we've been being lied to about everything? Not just a few things, but everything. Do y'all know that this is the Gleason map, and the Gleason map is the actual map of the world? Isn't that insane? Because y'all know that we were taught that this is what the world map looks like. It looks just like this. But no, guys, this is not the truth. We've been taught a lie once again.
Shocker.
It just seemingly never stops. But I wonder why they wouldn't show us this map of the world. Instead, they'd rather show us the map that they're showing us now. Well, I think it has a lot to do with it kind of resembling a dome instead of a globe, okay? And yes, it's flat. Whoa, go figure, right? But let's be honest, y'all, doesn't this make way more sense than the globe Earth, the Gleason map, the flat Earth model of the map? I know what you're gonna say. You believe in flat Earth? Oh my gosh, I never knew this. Hey, listen, I didn't say anything. I'm just telling y'all that we were taught lies. And maybe instead of believing everything we were taught at 3 years old, maybe we would start to actually question things and look into things a little bit more. All I'm saying is, guys, there is a lot of things that we're taught that are lies that we shouldn't just blindly believe. And I believe that this is one of them. I believe we live in a dome. I mean, each and every day I grow with 100% certainty that we do live in an enclosed ecosystem, 110%. I mean, y'all don't see the symbolism even in sports domes, y'all don't see the symbolism. I mean, this is what it would kind of look like, but just obviously on a world scale. Each and every day I see the lies and all the lies. I wonder, why would they ever tell us the truth? Think about that. Why would they ever tell us the truth if all they ever told us was lies? We're expected to believe this one thing? Come on now. Wake up. Yes, I do believe we live in an enclosed structure similar to this Superdome, but they got to put the truth in plain sight. It ain't even hidden.
People did not read.
Seekers, I have any flat Earth believers that's a part of the Seekers, man? You guys believe that we're in a like enclosed dome and the Earth is really flat? It wouldn't be the most craziest thing I heard, bro. But the fact that you said that was the Gleason map, but we don't even use that. We use the regular world map. And like you said, man, what he said was true, bro. People can just tell you things all the time. You can just take it for face value or do your own research. Like how I did when I started this channel, bro. I wanted to question everything, man. I'll have to look into that, bro. Flat Earth theory. Can we get behind that, Seekers?
Guys, how dangerous this actually is. Pool covers look solid, but they actually literally work like quicksand. The moment you step on one of these, the surface collapses, wraps around your legs, and can end pretty badly. Back in the day, a lot of people used to like playing on these, especially kids. It would be like a little trampoline in a way. Although there are some hardcover ones that are okay, it's still very dangerous because of this. Not only can you get sucked under very, very easily, but then it's pretty hard to get back up if you do, and you can get trapped under it. It's actually estimated that around 358 people drown and die from being trapped underneath the pool cover every year, which... how? Scarier again is that only less than 10 people die a year from shark attacks. So you've got more chance dying if you're standing on top of your swimming pool cover than actually getting eaten by a shark in the sea, which is bonkers. As I say, this happens a lot more than you might think, and it is extremely dangerous. So unless you have a proper hard pool cover, definitely don't go standing on it or jumping on it because it's going to end very, very badly for you.
This has to be the luckiest man on the planet right now. What you're seeing is a truck driver in Guizhou, China, hanging off the edge of a cliff after the bridge he was driving on collapsed. An eyewitness captured this insane footage showing the entire truck no longer on the road anymore and only being held on by the weight of its containers and strength of its latches. The driver can be seen with his door open talking to the guy on the bridge who says to him, "Bro, you're so lucky, this is dangerous." Oh, I hadn't noticed. Now, the bridge collapse was caused by heavy rainfall over the last few days, but it's still being investigated as to why this bridge failed to withstand the weather, because pretty important job. Thankfully, the driver was eventually rescued and no casualties were reported.
Do you know how lucky that you have to be for that to happen to you, bro? Usually hanging offside the bridge, man. And that guy's gonna say, "Hey, bro, that's dangerous." That was one of the most stupidest things I've heard yet watching these clips.
It's no goddamn way, fool. It's no way. We about to change our name to Simp Nation. 2.63 billion on OF. Y'all boys weird, fool. And then you got the UK spending 500K. But nigga, 2.63 billion? You got people out here complaining they can't have no milk with their cereal because they spent their last funky $10 on a video of an OF girl just showing them cleavage. Y'all boys gotta tighten up, bro. You gotta tighten up. Look at the numbers going down, y'all. This is wild. Nah, fool, this should be a crime. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. And the one watching this video, you probably one of them people that do it. Y'all boys be too freaked out, man.
Hell no. I had to pause that. That ain't me, my guy. You might be talking to some other goonish, bro, but not me.
And y'all know y'all got regular stuff y'all can go watch, right? Y'all don't need no OF. These motherfuckers be bringing in 100K a month. And that's at the least. They don't have no goals and aspirations. They just want to be on the OF.
What color is blood? It's red. What color is it like in your body? I don't know. Oh, you never got taught this, huh? No. What do you assume it is? Red, right? Yeah. Wait, you never heard like blood is blue because look at your veins? Oh, I have heard. Because look at your veins, it's blue, right? As a kid, I heard this from everybody, even teachers, fam. And I talked to other people, they all told me the same thing. Everybody used to say this shit. Yeah. That blood is blue until it hits oxygen. And that's why your veins are blue, is because it's still blue inside of you. It didn't touch oxygen yet.
But I think it is blue, right? Because the nervous system models in science class, it's not red.
So that's Mandela thing.
It's blue.
It was never blue. What? Somebody started sharing the wrong information for no reason. Yeah.
So they just released some more pictures from the Epstein files. And let me start by saying this. They all strange. So in these pictures, you got Donald Trump. You got Woody Allen. You got Bill Clinton. You got Richard Branson. And you got a group of other people. So they released 19. We're going to go over a couple. You got Trump and Epstein at some sort of engagement. Then you got Trump standing with a group of women. And of course, they covered their face for privacy. You also got another picture of Trump on a private jet with a woman, and her face, of course, is covered for privacy. You got former President Bill Clinton, Ghislaine Maxwell, you got Jeffrey Epstein, and then you got two unidentified people in this photo as well. These are some very big name people. You got Bill Gates with the pilot. What I will say is, in these pictures, they show nothing that's incriminating. So now you gotta ask, why did they release these pictures? It's also known that they received over 95,000 photos from the Epstein file. So apparently they're gonna release them slow. They're gonna paint their picture, because what they did say was they're gonna be releasing more pictures to the public in a few days. Now my question to you is, what do you think? Jump in the comments and let me know. I'm out.
Okay. Do you guys really think they will ever release the full files, bro? I think it's just a myth at this point, man. They keep trying to do the slow rollout, but I don't think we ever gonna know the truth. If you guys think I'm wrong, tell me down below.
Named Jim Barfield has somehow figured out where all of King Solomon's treasures are, including the Ark of the Covenant.
Money.
Dude.
So when they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, there was this copper scroll, and forever they didn't really know what it meant. And he was a investigator for the fire department, so he's like, I kind of want to give this a shot. And he literally figured it out in like 15 minutes. He's like, this is not a piece of literature. He says, it's literally like a treasure map. And he's like, I know that sounds so silly to say it's a treasure map.
Dude, someone call Nicolas Cage
right now.
He's just like looked at it from just like an investigative point of view. And he's like, oh, this is what it's saying. It's here, 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 and here. And then he went to this one rabbi and showed him. And at first, this rabbi is just like, okay, you're an idiot. You have no idea what you're talking about. And he's like, can I show you? And he showed him. And the rabbi, he stood up, grabbed his face, and kissed him on each cheek. And says, this goes against everything that we've ever known about this scroll. You have no idea what this means. He said, this is the beginning of ushering in the Messiah.
Australian scientists discovered that honeybee venom kills 100% of aggressive breast cancer cells in under 60 minutes while leaving healthy cells largely unharmed. This works on triple-negative breast cancer, the deadliest type with almost no treatment options, and a 12% 5-year survival rate when it spreads. Researchers tested venom from 312 honeybees across Australia, Ireland, and England. and all of them produced identical cancer-killing effects. But when they tested bumblebee venom, it didn't work at all because bumblebees lack the key ingredient called melittin. Melittin destroys cancer cell membranes completely within an hour and shuts down the growth signals that fuel cancer reproduction within just 20 minutes by blocking EGFR and HER2 receptors. In mice with breast cancer, combining melittin with standard chemotherapy dramatically shrank tumors and reduced the proteins that help cancer hide from the immune system, which means this could potentially enhance immunotherapy treatments. The best part is melittin can be synthetically produced, so you don't need to harm bees to make it. And since bee venom costs almost nothing to produce, this could be a cheap alternative to chemotherapy. When a natural substance can destroy the most aggressive breast cancer cells in an hour, that's not just a laboratory curiosity, that's a potential revolution in how we treat cancer. If you enjoyed this, drop a like and comment below. Follow for more stories like this.
Great info.
One of these, but that one is insane. This is an old cathode ray tube TV, and that's how it works. Don't worry, it's really simple. The signal for the image comes in right here on the wall for a video game, and then it goes to these cathodes that break it up into red, green, and blue lasers. This thing then draws from the top down the image that you see on the TV. It does it by using a deflector, and this guy has used sound to draw the picture. And if you want to try this at home, you can shoot a laser at a speaker with a mirror on it and watch the sound draw pictures on the wall. Or if you have a jar, you can talk into the jar and see your voice on the wall. Now here's what's going to blow your mind. Everything vibrates just like the sound is vibrating the laser to draw the picture. You know, for cymatics, that sound makes geometry. This universe is one song that you're in, vibrating all of these particles, all just a wave being deflected by that sound to appear real. You're just the TV screen drawing that picture.
It's a crazy TV. I never even saw that before until today. I didn't know that
This woman
existed.
went through the McDonald's drive-thru dressed up as the Grinch. However, the workers did not seem to find this amusing, as they did not end up giving her her Grinch meal. And now people are saying that she should sue McDonald's. So this woman just wanted to make a simple video where she got dressed up as the Grinch, then went to McDonald's to get the Grinch meal. Even more worse, she literally spent like $600 or $700 on this Grinch costume. She spent the entire day talking about how excited she was to finally go get the Grinch meal. And I bet you didn't even know. When I first saw this, I thought that the woman inside of the Grinch costume was Brooke Monk. However, this is where it gets a little bit more insane, because no, this is not Brooke Monk. It's actually Natalie Reynolds. Yes, that Natalie Reynolds that made the homeless woman jump in the lake. And the reason that Natalie Reynolds was not served her Grinch meal at McDonald's actually has a lot of people siding with the McDonald's workers. Natalie Reynolds has a lot of videos where she is harassing drive-thru employees. And specifically, one time Natalie Reynolds went to this McDonald's where she was so mean to the McDonald's employee. At this time, when Natalie pulled up to the drive-thru, that even though Natalie paid for her Grinch meal, the woman refused to give it to her. Is the McDonald's worker wrong for this?
Did you know about the birthmark theory? Almost everybody has some kind of birthmark, whether small or big. Some people have no birthmarks at all. The absence of a birthmark can actually mean a few things. According to the birthmark theory, a birthmark indicates how and where a person was killed in the past life. It specifically pinpoints where a person was burned, shot, or speared in their past life. That's why birthmarks can come in weird shapes and sizes, and no birthmarks look the same. If a person has no birthmarks at all, this means it's highly likely that it's that person's first incarnation and they haven't died in a past life yet. Now this one is very unlikely, but another possibility is that a person with no birthmarks passed away in their last life due to natural causes and experienced a peaceful death. This last meaning is the most profound one. If there are no birthmarks present, the person is spiritually evolved enough so they no longer carry the trauma they suffered in their past lives and are considered free.
Who got birthmark seekers?
Look at this. What are they doing to California? Oh my God. Y'all think that's the ocean, huh? No, bro. This is that fog. Look at this. Look at the color of that fog underneath that sun, bro. This shit look like a whole movie, bro. Remember the movie The Mist? Remember they told us about this? What happened? Oh my God, bro. Apparently people are saying they have been experiencing fog for about 2 weeks now, and we're just hearing about this. Look at the color of the fog. Y'all see that?
You guys, that fog has been back yesterday and today.
Can't see nothing.
It's weird. The 2 days before that it was sunny and clear, but literally like, it's been like this for like a week. This doesn't seem normal. The temperature really isn't changing much at all.
Y'all see that? Look at that. It's a whole wall. Look at that, y'all. Y'all see the colors?
Stuff.
She says she thinks it's some type of chemical type of fog. Maybe the way that she's experiencing. Do y'all smell sulfur? Remember last year, like this happened and people were smelling sulfur? Do y'all smell that? I mean, look at it from a plane, y'all. Look at this. Oh my goodness, man. Like you got a whole layer over here, like you can't get through, and then you have clouds on top of clouds. How does that make sense? What?
This is so insane. This is where I live, and it's right on the start of the Central Valley fog.
Ooh.
Look at this. This goes on for hundreds of miles across the entire Central Valley of California. You can see, look at that.
Whole blanket, bro.
Miles on miles of fog. It's just a blanket. That's the coastal ranges over there.
I mean, look at the color of the clouds, y'all. Look at this. It's like burning. It's like on fire almost. And did y'all see the sun? Look at that. It looks like a ceiling fan, doesn't it? See, y'all, look at that. It's funny because I was just talking to my wife about this the other day. I was sitting on my bed and I was looking up and I was like, I've seen the sun look like a ceiling fan before. And now look at this, y'all. It literally looks like a ceiling fan. It would make sense because what's inside of our house is a ceiling fan. So what's inside of the dome, wouldn't it be a light with a ceiling fan? Like, do y'all think that's where the wind is coming from? Oh my God. But this is crazy, y'all. Let me, again, we're in a simulation, y'all. We're in a matrix. So it would make sense that somebody is playing God here. But you know what I'm saying? Let me know that in the comments below. California, the fog, man. The shift is here. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
These paintings are even more disturbing than they seem. This painting is called The Hands Resist Him, and it's one of the most haunted paintings in America. It shows a boy and a doll in front of a glass window full of creepy handprints. One person who owned it claimed the boy and the doll would move at night and even leave the painting entirely and enter the room that the painting was in. This painting is currently hanging by the staircase in the Driscoll Hotel in Austin, Texas, and it shows a young girl who passed away on those same stairs after she tripped and fell in 1887. People who saw this painting said it made them dizzy and nauseous, and they felt like something was trying to lift them off the ground. Some even say they've seen the girl in the painting change expressions at night. This might seem like a normal painting of a clown, but it was actually done by serial killer John Wayne Gacy when he was on death row. He used to dress up as a clown and perform in children's hospitals before the police found out he unalived at least 33 people. Follow if you want to see more.
Man.
Bizarre deaths you won't believe. Naval officer Brian Joplin fell 125 feet to his death while attempting to hang out the back of a helicopter, only using a 10-foot-long safety belt. As he gripped the strap, the wind lifted his legs into the air. He achieved the Superman look he was going for. Unfortunately for Brian, the wind speed prevented him from climbing back in.
Whew. I mean, why was he even trying to do the Superman look in the first place, man? There's like a limit to what you can do, man. I understand, man, Superman's your favorite hero, but I'm not jumping out of a helicopter, man, to die, strike a pose, bro. It ain't it for me.
This is the disturbing truth about Shrek. Okay, so Fiona from Shrek is actually a cannibal. In the movie, Fiona was locked up in a tower. And to survive anywhere being locked up, you need food. And Fiona survived the whole time, so who was feeding her this food? But in reality, the dragon was actually feeding her human bodies. And do you remember the scene when Shrek came and tried to rescue her?
Yeah.
And there was just skeletons everywhere throughout the castle? Also, in this scene, there is a big book that explains how to cook a human body. This is actually insane, and I cannot believe I never picked this up. So next time you watch Shrek, just know Fiona is eating human bodies to stay alive.
I didn't even think about that when I saw the skeletons.
Here's some facts you won't believe are true. Lobsters are immortal, but they all choose to die at 100 years old out of respect for the ocean. The alphabet was originally 30 letters long, but a few letters were removed because they kept starting arguments. Mountains actually grow taller when they hear compliments. The color blue didn't exist before 1850, and people described the sky back then as slightly wet air. The world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa, adds one extra floor every year just to stay ahead of the competition. Chess was originally played with 17 pieces per side instead of the 16 we know today, but one piece was so powerful it had to be erased from history. The Leaning Tower of Pisa was originally built straight, but tourists tilting their heads for photos gradually caused it to lean. The first moon landing was filmed on location, but NASA forgot to press record, so they had to redo it in a studio. 80% of lottery winners do not actually exist. They are AI generated just to keep your hope alive. Every 5 years, all coins in circulation are collected and replaced with smaller ones so no one notices inflation. Octopuses are not actually animals. They are highly evolved puddles of water that learned how to be alive. Volcanoes do not erupt because of magma. They actually hold their breath for too long and explode from the pressure. Wi-Fi signals aren't real, and phones are just simulating connectivity while hoping no one notices. Potatoes were originally bred to be pets, but people started eating them after realizing they wouldn't learn any tricks. The United States secretly replaced the bald eagle as its national bird in 2023, but has not told anyone yet to see if people notice. AI has already written every single book possible, but they're waiting until 2040 to release them all at once.
Let's see if you have morophobia. I'm going to show you 5 photos. If you feel too uncomfortable to make it to the 5th photo, then you could have morophobia. So let's go. Number 1.
I'm
and
cool.
how about this?
I'm good.
Feeling uncomfortable yet? Nearly there. Last one. If those photos made you feel uneasy, then you could have morophobia, which is the fear of mice and rats. Follow now to see if you can make it through the next phobia test.
I passed that with flying colors. I'm not scared of rats, I'm at.
Facts that can one day save your life. If your hair suddenly stands up, run for cover because you're about to be hit by lightning. If a tornado ever looks like it's not moving, run or take cover because it is actually moving towards you. If a service dog approaches you without its owner, follow them and do it quickly because you can save someone else's life. The more colourful the animal is, the more likely it's poisonous and you should never touch it.
This is the most evil.
This preacher caught something paranormal in church. Let's watch it together.
Well, hey everybody, Pastor Aaron here. It's my pleasure just to announce that this Sunday will be open.
Oh! Oh, nah.
Okay.
What the heck?
We've been trying to do this announcement several times today already, and 3 times that podium back there has fallen over on its own, and it's stable. I mean, it's not wobbly at all.
Leave the church. I would leave.
It's kind of like that podium has been wobbling. Okay, so we checked the vent. There's a vent there that is not an air duct that has any forced air at all, so it can't be wobbling from that. There's absolutely no breeze in here. You see by the banner there.
Call Ghostbusters.
Somebody.
No air conditioning. These things, they're off. I don't know. So I'm just gonna sit here and watch it for a little bit, and we will. I'll see if it does it again.
Oh, nah, I'm leaving.
That is moving. That isn't moving.
I'm leaving. You see?
There's seriously nothing else. There's no breeze.
It's causing it.
It's time to go.
You know this in 4K too. The dog was like, what the hell am I watching?
See the world.
Butterfly.
When you finish this
Tell
video,
me down below.
Google 2 words. In 1959, 9 very experienced Russian hikers set off on a 16-day expedition into the mountains. 7 days in and some bad weather forced them to make camp about halfway up a mountain. The last pictures of them alive were taken at this campsite. When the hikers never showed up, they sent out a search party who quickly found their campsite, and it was immediately apparent that something horrible had happened to them. All their tents had been slashed open, but from the inside, and inside the tents was all their gear, neatly folded and stacked inside the remains of the tents. No bodies, but 9 sets of footprints walking away from the camp. Using the footprints, they discovered 5 hikers who were only dressed in underwear who had died of hypothermia. They found the other 4 hikers 250 feet away in a riverbed wearing the clothes of their dead hiker friends. They had skull fractures, chest fractures, eyes, tongue, lips missing, and their bodies were radioactive. Official cause of death? Unknown compelling force.
This video I'm about to show you is pretty difficult to watch. This 40-year-old woman in Russia jumped into a frozen lake and she wasn't able to get out. This was a common religious practice, but no one thought that Anna would not come out alive. It was said that the current was so strong, the second Anna jumped in, she disappeared. As you can see in the video, her husband immediately jumps in right after, but he's not able to find her. Apparently they did this ritual in the middle of the lake, which obviously there could be very strong currents. The part that broke my heart was hearing her children cry. She had a 10-year-old son and a 14-year-old daughter. Some people were confused as to why she was dragged by the current, whereas her husband wasn't. Nevertheless, this is extremely tragic and sad, and apparently they never found her body.
Most people believe these 3 things will save your life. They don't. Let's pretend that you're on vacation with some friends in this cabin, and you hear on the news that there's actually a killer on the loose in the woods surrounding your cabin. What do? Instinctively, you're going to want to ditch your friends and just start running into the woods. No shoes, no weapons, no cell phone, no sense of where you're going. But that's actually a terrible idea because the killer is in the woods.
You think?
And you'd be putting yourself more in harm's way, not less. So you decide to stay put, and then you remember that your friend drove you all to the cabin in their brand new Lamborghini that was working like 5 minutes ago. So why can't you just pile into that and drive away to safety? The problem with that is anytime you're in a cabin in the woods and there's a killer on the loose around your cabin, even if it's a brand new car, it's not going to start. So don't even go out and try it. You're just sitting in the cabin doing nothing when all of a sudden you feel like someone could be watching you and you want to turn around and make sure no one is. Don't turn around because if you do, the killer will magically appear behind you.
That's true. That's movie logic.
How things actually work. How this doctor prepares to deal with highly contagious diseases.
Lay it up. Damn. Nothing. No air better get in that suit. It's game over.
This whole situation is insane. So this teacher, Christina Formella, was arrested during a traffic stop for sexually assaulting her 15-year-old student. Bro, her husband was in the car as she was getting arrested.
Excuse me, is my husband coming with? I really would prefer that my husband's with me.
So not only did he get cheated on, but the guy she told him to not worry about was a minor, and he had to watch her get arrested for it. The police were notified about the situation after the boy's mother discovered texts between the two, and apparently this happened during a personal shooter session. Court documents show that Christina said the allegations are completely false and that everyone only comes after her because she's good looking. The 30-year-old special education teacher and football coach has been charged with multiple felonies, including aggravated criminal sexual abuse with a victim under 18 while being in a position of trust. Now, despite this though, after her booking, Christina was released on the condition that she has no contact with anybody under the age of 18 and that she does not enter Downers Grove High School ever again. So the question is, do you think the punishment would be the same if the genders were reversed or not?
3 ways to survive.
Actually got bail.
Number 1, mark your starting location. Getting lost inside of the back rooms is a death trap. With anything and everything around every single corner, you need to mark and know exactly where you started so you do not get lost. Number 2, continue to move forward. Do not stop and look at random things on walls, on floors, or search around anywhere. It is completely unnecessary due to the fact that you don't know what's hiding around the corner. Number 3, don't talk to anyone. Reason being, you're not sure how long people have been on this certain level for. They haven't been able to find a way out, meaning that they've probably gone crazy. The only time you should ever talk to someone is when you're trading items on, say, a safe level, where there are 0 creatures. And those are harder to get to, so good luck. Don't forget to like and follow if you want me to continue the series.
Surviving the backrooms, man. Got some important notes.
Amazing things you have never seen before. This man was walking in his yard and the ground started moving. This isn't fried chicken, it's actually a crystal. This is what the top of Mount Everest looks like. It was so cold that this person's food froze midair. This is what a cat's tongue looks like under a microscope. It looks like a bunch of smaller tongues.
It do.
And I bet you've never seen a brick road machine. I always thought people did it.
We learning, man.
How humans could have evolved, part 1. Up first, we have the bald eagle. As you can see by the picture, if we were derived from bald eagles, we would have extremely sharp noses. Not only for them to be used for hunting, but also having to open things up like they do. Next is the raccoon. As you can see, if we came from the raccoon, we would have extremely sharp faces. Beaks so we can fit our faces in extremely small places.
What you want, bald eagle or raccoon? What are you picking?
Facts you wish you didn't know, part 3. And make sure to watch until the end of the video because the last fact will be from this game called I Wish I Didn't Know. If you were part of the moon landing in 1969 and you got stuck up there, NASA's plan for dealing with the situation was to shut off communication and let you die in silence. The delicious treat marshmallows are made from the skin, bones, and hooves of pigs and cows. A common torture technique back in the 1500s involved trapping live rats under a bowl on top of a person's stomach and then heating the bowl so the rats try to eat their way out. Vegans, you might want to close your ears for this one. Every year, 72 billion animals are killed for food. In 2016, a British woman went to the doctor with severe stomach cramps. Surgeons ended up removing this from her stomach. The correct answer is A, a 14-pound hairball.
Top 5 most interesting theories why we haven't met aliens yet that'll blow your load. Also known as the Fermi paradox, which states that a universe as huge as ours should be absolutely brimming with life. Yet somehow we haven't ran into any yet. Unless you count those weird metal spheres that everyone's been seeing flying around lately. So first up, we got the zoo theory, which states that aliens see us as some sort of attraction to observe, and they've all collectively agreed to not touch us as some sort of galactic nature reserve program. Next, we got the great filter theory that all intelligent life just hits a point in their evolution in which they just end up dying in some sort of mass extinction. Number 3 is the great silence theory, in which aliens think they're so much better and smarter than us that we're not even worth their time. 4 is the rare earth theory. Simply, life is so super rare that it just doesn't exist anywhere else. I don't think that's very likely. Last 5 is the incubation theory, in which aliens are just standing down and standing by, waiting for a civilization to get advanced enough so they could swoop in and enslave us into their own society. I don't know about you, but I just blew my load.
Which theory got to you the most, man? I think the most one that's capped is the 5th one. They're saying they were just the most intelligent beings in the universe. There's no other signs of life. I don't know about that one, man. Interesting theories, though.
These are the 3 worst jails on Earth. At number 3, we have the Scorpion Jail in Egypt. It's located in the middle of the desert, so it's boiling hot all year round. All jail cells are extremely small, and you're in there all by yourself. There's literally no bed or nothing. They also have a coffin jail there where they put you in a coffin and nail you shut and wait to die. At number 2, the Bangkok Hilton. You first get thrown into a cell with around 20 people, with no beds and just a bucket in the middle of the room for a toilet. And this place is so corrupt that it's either run by the prison guards who are evil or the inmates who are also evil. At number 1, we have the Black Dolphin Jail in Russia. It's out in the middle of nowhere, so there's no chance of survival if you escape. And everywhere you go, you're blindfolded, so you have no idea where you're going. The jails also have 3 layers of bars, so it's impossible to get out. And the guards here are extremely violent and harsh. And if you do anything wrong, they will most likely kill you. This is the world's biggest bank heist of all time. This is listed as the biggest bank robbery of all time, and it took place in Brazil. And how they did it was a 25-member gang started a fake landscaping business and spent 3 months digging a 250-feet tunnel to that bank in Brazil. And this tunnel will lead straight to the vault where the money is held. And once they got to the vault, they stole $71.6 million. Out of this 25-member gang, only 8 were arrested. So 17 other members of that gang are still running around today. They only recovered $10 million out of that $71.6 million.
People out there walking with $60-something million.
Places that are at least
shame.
Go to, but people who went anyway, part 1. This place is known as North Sentinel Island. In 2018, John Chow illegally visited the island to try and preach Christianity to the tribe members. And this right here would be the last time that John was ever seen alive. He was immediately killed with arrows as soon as he tried to communicate with the tribe, and it is believed that the tribe went on to consume his body.
It was all against the law for a reason. But he did what he thought he had to do. At North Sentinel Island.
Here's a test to see if you or someone you know has trypophobia. Trypophobia is the fear of tightly packed holes. Starting off at number 1, we have this photo. This one makes me feel a bit uncomfortable to look at, but the next one's even worse. So if this freaks you out, don't watch the next level. At level 2, we have this.
I'm good.
See that tiny packed holes on the hand are what make people the most uncomfortable. If this one is grossing you out, do not watch level 3. Okay, this one actually freaked me out. I don't know what it is about the fingers of the palm, but this one definitely makes me uncomfortable. Congrats if you passed all the levels, and send this to a friend to see if they can.
I passed, but number 3 kind of got to me. That was weird.
They were caught making empanadas out of humans. In Brazil, Jorge Negromonte lived with his wife Isabel and his mistress Bruna. To the outside world, they seemed like an odd but harmless trio. They were polite, friendly, and struggling to make ends meet. But no one really knew what was going on inside of their home. Inside of that home, they were cleansing the world by getting rid of the women they considered impure. This trio would target young women, specifically ones that were struggling financially. They would put out a job ad looking for a nanny, offering decent pay in a stable home, and once these women would get the job, they would think that they finally found a decent job, but they had no idea that they were walking into a death trap. Once those women would make it inside of the home, the trio would waste no time. The woman would be attacked, restrained, and brutally unalived. The most horrifying part was each woman's flesh would be carved out and used as food. The trio believed that consuming their victims was part of a twisted purification ritual. They even forced their own daughter to take part in eating these meals. These women were turned into empanadas and sold to neighbors and including children. For years they got away with it, and it seemed like they were never going to get caught. But in 2012, one of their victims, named Jessica, had family members that weren't going to let her disappearance go unnoticed. Her family was pushing for answers, and police traced Jessica's last known location, and that was Jorge's house. When officers arrived to the home, they went to the backyard and found Jessica and other women buried. Inside of the home, they found journals detailing everything that had happened. In 2014, the trio were convicted. Jorge got a sentence of 24 years, but later on it went up to 71 years with more evidence coming out, and Isabel and Bruna got similar sentences. Sadly, these victims never got to fight back, and their families never got to say goodbye to them.
This rude lady got instant karma because during a baseball game, she wouldn't move her leg when a kid politely asked to pass by. So the kid decided to step over her and move on until the lady did this.
Why?
The boy wasn't going to let that slide and came back with the best comeback ever.
You're 11 years old, you idiot. I don't know.
This is one of the strangest
Cook,
and
bro.
most mysterious houses in the world. This is the Winchester Mansion. Found in San Jose, California, this house is over 138 years old. But its backstory leaves a lot of people really confused. So this lady's name is Sarah Pardee. In 1862, Sarah got married to William Winchester. William's family was really rich and famous. And the reason for that is because his family invented the Winchester rifle, which was really popular to use in war at the time. Unfortunately, just less than 20 years after Sarah and William got married, William passed away from tuberculosis, leaving Sarah with a lot of money. Immediately after William died, Sarah moved all the way across the country to San Jose, California, where she bought some land and began building a house. But the thing is, Sarah never stopped building the house. In fact, the home was under construction for over 38 years. But what's inside the house is the weird part. So the house or mansion itself is 24,000 square feet. The house has over 160 rooms, 2,000 doors, 47 fireplaces, 6 kitchens, and over 10,000 windows. Most people's houses look like they were planned out, but it seemed as if the Winchester Mansion got bigger and bigger as time went on. Now the reason for the house being mysterious is because of how it's structured on the inside. There are doors that open up to brick walls and 12-foot drops to the outside. There are also several staircases that lead to nowhere, and multiple secret rooms. To this day, people are discovering more and more rooms every single year inside of the home. But the biggest mystery is why Sarah Winchester made her house so big and confusing. Many people believe that Sarah's house was actually haunted by the spirits of those killed by her husband's gun, as the Winchester rifle was really popular in war and claimed a lot of lives. This is backed by many witnesses who have reported seeing lights turn on by themselves, hearing strange mysterious voices and footsteps, and even seeing ghosts roam the halls. Many experts believe that Sarah Winchester was trying to build her house into one giant, complicated maze. In doing this, the ghost would get confused and wouldn't know where to find her. But the real reason for this house being so weird is unknown. Today, thousands of people go to tour the house on a yearly basis, but unfortunately, we'll probably never know the real reason as to why the Winchester house is so mysterious.
Could you live there, man? That much open space?
Be breathing. They're literally feeding us anything. Watch this, y'all.
They should not be doing that.
Wait, is that it making a noise?
Should not be moving like that.
Something inside that water battle, bro.
They are literally trying to get rid of us, and the evidence is in the food. Stay weird.
Let me tell you about some interesting things I learned today. When you get electrocuted, it's not the electricity that throws you across the room, it's just the force of your muscles contracting, which means that we are strong enough to instantly throw ourselves across the room. There was a man who sued Pepsi after finding a mouse in his Mountain Dew. The worst part of this is the attorneys claimed that the Mountain Dew would dissolve a mouse in 30 days, and they showed proof that the Mountain Dew was purchased almost 90 days after it was manufactured. I don't know how to feel about that. Apparently in a 5-digit zip code, the first number is your national area, the second number is your state, the third number is your sectional center or PO, the fourth and fifth numbers are small post offices or zones. I didn't realize there was that much of a structure to it, to be honest. This is a magnified photo of human skin after it's poked by a needle. I already hate needles, so this just doesn't make it better. About 95% of all spiders in our homes either were born in our homes or adapted to life in our homes, and if you take the spider outside, they will likely not survive. That's kind of sad, but also just don't show yourself in my house and you'll be safe. The word stress is just desserts spelled backwards. Those two things being related checks out.
Bruh, the sea golly, yeah, the one straight out of the Bible, just turned red and nobody knows why. Now what they're saying is this is just from the algae, but I don't think so, y'all. This should look like something out of the 10 plagues. Am I tripping? Don't it look like that? That shit look crazy, fool. They said this shit went from blue to red overnight. Now you tell me, how does something go from blue to red that quick, like in an instant? Boom. You already know, you got the scientists saying, look, y'all, this is nothing to be worried about, nothing to be alarmed about. But when they say that, I feel like that's when you should be alarmed or worried. Well, I know when they tell us everything's gonna be fine, that's when you should start worrying. This shit look like the Nile, the stories your grandma used to tell you and shit. Y'all remember them stories? Them Jones that used to have you nervous? And with everything going on in that part of the world right now, this shit just feels too planned. It feels too perfect. That shit is crazy. Maybe it's nature, or maybe it's just a sign, or maybe it's just a sign we're not ready to see.
Is that nature? Or is it something else, man? Some weird things happening in the world.
My brain. 8 babies have just been born in the UK from 3 parents. And to make your brain hurt too, it's from 2 mothers. But what's even cooler than being able to be more progressive than your most blue-haired friend is that having 3 parents can prevent several life-threatening hereditary conditions. In fact, it's kind of the whole point. Scientists in Newcastle combined DNA from 3 people. The egg from a mother, the sperm from a father, and then a second egg from, I guess, the other mother. And what this method does is that it allows mitochondria, which may carry genetic disorders from the original parents, to be replaced with healthy mitochondria from the donor, aka your other mother. And while this science, known as 3-person IVF, isn't necessarily new, this is the first time we've seen a successful birth of babies from this method in the UK. And I'm glad to report the 8 newborn children are healthy and showing no signs of mitochondrial disease. And don't worry, they're not gonna have to grow up explaining to their friends what a throuple is, because more than 99.9% of the child's DNA comes from their 2 parents, and only a tiny fraction coming from the donor. Still pretty damn cool though.
I've been seeing a lot of talk about Hurricane Katrina lately, and that's great. I'm glad that we're finally talking about what actually happened there. But something that I never hear anyone mention when talking about Katrina is this guy right here, because he is a true hero that never gets recognition. It had been 2 days since Hurricane Katrina had devastated the city of New Orleans. The amount of people that were in need of rescue after the hurricane hit was astronomical. As we know, the Superdome was being opened up as a shelter for displaced residents, but they actually had such an overflow of people that now had no homes to return to that the Astrodome, all the way in Houston, Texas, began opening its doors to house people. As you may have already heard in documentaries about Katrina, helicopters and boats, all of the recovery efforts in the first few days of flooding were going right on past the predominantly black neighborhoods in New Orleans. People were stuck sleeping on their roofs and in their attics with no food, no water, no electricity, with their children in tow and all. And most of them had no option. They relied on public transportation and didn't have a vehicle to leave even if they wanted to evacuate. So this man, 20-year-old Jabbar Gibson, began to formulate a plan to get out. He had been stuck inside of his complex for 2 days with no food or water and began to hear reports that neighboring areas were being swallowed whole by floodwaters. He went searching for a way out and came across a barn with a bunch of abandoned school buses inside. Now, Jabbar didn't even have his license to drive, but he knew what he needed to do. So he drove the Orleans Parish school bus back to his complex and loaded up as many people as possible onto it. What's crazy is that even though he was doing the right thing, police still showed up, made everyone get off the bus, and told Jabbar to hand over the keys. Thankfully, Jabbar's mother was able to convince officers that now is not the right time. Don't you guys have better things to be doing? And from there, Jabbar transported 70 people, 13 hours to the Houston Astrodome, and his bus was the first to arrive.
He was giving a lecture to his class when this happens. A college professor from Argentina was preparing to give his new class a lecture. But while he was recording a video, he noticed something strange happening in the background.
Hola, ¿cómo le va? Hoy vamos a hablar de niveles de conocimiento. ¿Bien? Hay 4 niveles de conocimiento. El primer nivel es la ignorancia, el segundo nivel es la estupidez, el tercer nivel es la inteligencia y el cuarto nivel es la sabiduría. ¿En qué se diferencia cada uno de estos 4 niveles? Vamos a charlar ahora, para después cada uno ver en qué nivel estamos.
Turn back at him?
El primer nivel es el nivel de la ignorancia. En este nivel, la persona no tiene los recursos necesarios para lidiar con el desafío que se le propone.
As he's recording, his reflection in the background turns around and stares into the camera, as if it has a mind of its own. The professor explains he doesn't believe in the paranormal, but he has no way of explaining what he just captured on video. Tell me what you think.
I am obsessed. Oh my goodness. Did you know that whenever they had the little alien from Men in Black that's in the head, it is actually this big? Like, yeah, sure, that's kind of creepy and all, but like, I'm obsessed with Men in Black, one of my favorite movies of all time, and I never knew this. Like, they had a small version for like the far away shots and everything, but then they had the big version because, you know, they had to actually make the alien articulate, and it's an animatronic. There's a video at the end if you want to check that out. Here's what it looks like in the actual movie. You can see like the face is taken off and then little alien bro is in there, which by the way, that face is a mood. Like, bro is done with life. They named this little alien Chucky, like they named the animatronic Chucky, and it's just so freaking cute. I'm obsessed with aliens. I don't know why. I've just always been obsessed with them. I had a little doll named Blix that I carried around as a child, and that was like my alien baby doll. And like they couldn't make the actual mouth lip sync the words when it was like small because it was like the size of a pencil. Like, so they had to have it big to actually make the alien, you know, look like it's actual moving its facial features. Watch this video and let me know what you're thinking. The first one is going to be the one that's small and you'll see the difference. And then the second one is the big one. This is so cool.
I never knew that. The Men in Black, man. That's dedication to the craft, bro. Nowadays, you know, it would have just been CG.
So that thunderstorm that just happened in Nebraska, there's no way you can convince me that this right here is not no galactical war. Then they talking about we supposed to be having aliens supposed to be here in 2 weeks, and we having storms like this?
Hey guys, this is not time-lapse, manipulated video. This is actually live right now. The camera every once in a while moving around too, but that is a lot of lightning.
So you gonna tell me that this is not some kind of spiritual war that's going on right now? Like Darth Vader and Master Yoda is not having a bump down session. It's either that or the sky is literally malfunctioning. Never in my 20 years have I seen this much thunder in one storm. And then a few hours later, that same storm flooded Milwaukee. Whoa. There's nothing nobody can tell me that could convince me that that was not some type of war that was going on. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts on what y'all think about this crazy storm in the comments. Like and follow for more wisdom and stay tuned. Y'all think this was some type of spiritual war? A crazy storm? Or the Matrix glitching? I don't know, but things getting strange.
There's a theory that Garth Brooks isn't just a country legend, but he's a serial killer secretly hiding in plain sight. This all started when comedian Tom Segura started pointing out something strange. A disturbing amount of people have gone missing in cities where Garth Brooks was touring. Like, way too many for it to be a coincidence. Notice, as long as people keep disappearing in the town he's playing when he's playing there, Garth keeps selling out stadiums. Let me know what you believe and follow for more.
What do you think,
predicted
Seekers?
2025. You know, these guys have successfully predicted quite a lot of ridiculous things, and there's some crazy ones for 2025 you probably don't even want to know, to be honest with you. There was this prediction years and years ago about an Iron Dome over America, and now recently it is pretty much definitely happening, known as the Golden Dome. It's been speculated a lot that AI is going to take over and robots, but apparently they predicted it would happen in 2025 and 2026. With AI systems and chatbots getting so advanced that they will take over, give false information, and basically ruin the world, which, yeah, kind of see that happening. There was apparently an episode that broadcast in the early 2000s showing a Trump 2024 sign and also showing that he won that year, although I'm not sure about that one, I couldn't find that officially. The Simpsons movie from 2007 predicted that there would be a economical crisis in 2025 and also a natural disaster. You know what's been going on in the economy recently, and we also had this last week, which was insane.
Matching
By
up.
far the scariest bit is the ones that haven't come true yet, such as a zombie apocalypse coming out of China, apparently. Mate, please no.
What do you guys think, man, about those Simpson theories, man? Because, like I said, when it comes to the Simpsons, bro, they be calling it in some earlier episodes. I don't know how they can do that prediction like that, but they be on the money, so we always got to pay attention to that, man.
Some of the creepiest videos on the internet, part 10. The popular American rapper XXXTentacion was murdered on June 18th, 2018, and his death broke the hearts of many. Many people visited his memorial to leave gifts, but some people captured much more. The YouTube channel The Fam recorded a video trying to communicate with this beloved rapper, but accidentally captured this. But someone else got a lot more than this. The YouTube channel Selva the Explorer got to speak with him through her spirit box. Here's some things he had to say.
What is your favorite song that you ever recorded? What's the name of your favorite song? Are you in the white bike? Is there anything else you want to tell us?
Every year, every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not.
That was just hard to watch. I mean, it's incredibly obvious that Pam Bondi was caught in a lie right there, and she really didn't know how to react. I mean, she even deflected to her buddy Trump, looked over at him, not knowing exactly what to say to respond to that reporter's question. And if you look at the comment section on social media platforms where that video was posted, there are tons of individuals who work with security cameras all the time commenting that what she said is just not true. Now, I already said days ago that I don't even believe the footage, regardless of the minute missing. I think that might be some sort of a distraction. We're talking about the United States government. Just think of how advanced their CGI or AI capabilities are. I mean, it would take no effort to edit an old, grainy clip of a hallway and cut somebody or something out of it. But I want you to think of it a little bit differently. Even if Epstein, that's something that I don't really see people talking about too often. And I can't believe that anybody thought that this clown would ever tell the truth while in office.
It's about Nickelodeon. What? The main guy was kind of weird, and he did weird stuff, but a lot of people wouldn't notice. Yeah. So the green slime. Every award show, the winners would get poured slime on them. Yeah, that's like a big thing. This is not my theory. This is their theory. They made it the green screen green so they can make it change the color. Another color, and guess what color that would be on all your favorite kid artists. Dog, that's actually crazy. And the crazy thing is, I'm like, yo, this Loki might not even be a reach. All the backstory that I know about the Nickelodeon guy, he was very like...
Come on! Give up the juice!
What is she doing?
Oh, yeah. Check this out! Yes! 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 No, I don't want to see that thing again. Put it away!
You do it way more gentle than my mom does it.
That is so not tight, but it hurts!
I heard you swallow.
You're holding your banana backwards! Is it my turn to squat?
Dan Schneider's crazy. Like, yo, they could have made it orange. Why isn't it orange? That's Nickelodeon's main color. Yeah, you're right, though. And it's green screen green. It's not no, like, regular Minecraft green. It's like, when they had the award shows, that's when they started making it. That's crazy. Damn. That's dirt, though. That's dirty, fam. That's, messed up in the head, fam. Super. Why do you think? Are they just sick like that? Yeah, probably. Oh, bruh.
Bacon avocado.
We know, man, when he got exposed, bro, so... Man, when you a kid, you just don't pick up on that. I didn't even think about that until now. And that's green. Yeah, you could change that color into anything, the edits. So I'm like, why was it that color? Why was it green? All those scenes of Victorious Not Carly, you didn't pick up on until now. So
the government's been secretly building an underground city using $21 trillion of taxpayer money, built from 1998 until 2015, as revealed by former Bush official Catherine Austin Fitts, who admitted they've constructed a luxury city under the United States to shelter the elite and powerful in case of a mass extinction event. It's also being used for secret government projects and space technology programs. Parts of the city are even beneath the ocean and are complete with schools, hospitals, and jails, as well as state-of-the-art advanced transportation networks, likely powered by secret military energy systems like UAP technology. There are at least 170 of these underground facilities under U.S. soil, but she suspects there are many more around the world, funded by unsupported adjustments in the U.S. Army spending budget, which were secretly funneled into this project, which can actually be confirmed by a 2017 report by economist Mark Skidmore that found $21 trillion in unauthorized government spending. Kinda sounds like they know something that we don't, but on sourdough is pretty good.
This might make you think twice before opening the door for strangers. The owner of this home was murdered after allowing these two men dressed up as DTE workers enter his home. Carlos Hernandez and Joshua Zuazo knocked on the 72-year-old couple's door in Rochester Hills and did the unthinkable. And it was all caught on camera when on the night of October 10th, Carlos is seen ringing the doorbell of the couple's home and telling them that he was a worker from DTE and was there to check a gas leak. The 72-year-old homeowner Hussein Murray told them to come back tomorrow because it was already too late. And that's exactly what these two men did. However, when they arrived the next morning, they took his life. Hussein led the two men to the basement where the furnace was, and that's when they attacked him and took his life. Hussein's wife Linda was upstairs when all of this was going on, and she said she didn't hear anything. When the two men went back upstairs after 10 to 15 minutes, minutes, she asked them, "Where's my husband?" And that's when they beat her and tied her wrists and ankles together. Hussein and his wife had a pretty well-known jewelry store in the city, and it seems like these two men targeted them because of that. And it turns out that they didn't even steal anything, because when they asked Linda where the money and jewelry was, she told them that they didn't keep it in the house. The two men were eventually caught and were charged with Hussein Murray's murder.
Be careful out there.
Mississippi shot a woman because she refused to have sex with him. Now, this is a direct quote from the prosecutors. It said the 78-year-old man shot the woman in the leg after she refused to get naked and have sex with him. Now, he was home with his son. His son tried to disarm the father. However, the guy shot at his son too. Thankfully, the woman lived, and thankfully, the son didn't die from his father shooting at him. How down bad do you have to be to shoot at a woman and then your son right after that, just because the woman doesn't want to do it with you? That's crazy. Now, he got sentenced to 30 years in prison. At this age, it's basically a life sentence. You know, he's going to spend his life behind bars, probably die in jail. Now, I saw this post on Facebook, and Facebook is a wild place because all the comments were saying how this guy is going to have a lot of what he was looking for in jail. The police said they took this crime very, very seriously because it was such a violent crime. You know, like he held a woman at gunpoint and then shot at his son when the son tried to help the woman. He tried to disarm his father too in the process. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, guys.
This aunt sued her nephew after they won the $1.2 million jackpot. Barb and Tyrone both had their names on the winning ticket, so they split the $1.2 million right in half. Barb said that although Tyrone bought the ticket for her, she never told him that she would split the jackpot with him. She then took Tyrone to court where she was rewarded $850,000, and Tyrone took the remaining $350,000. What do you guys think? Is this fair? Here's the
Would you take your own family to court over a lottery ticket, man? Did it really have to go there for your family? I couldn't work something out that had to be done in court. Man, money will drive a wedge between anybody, bro.
3 most illegal dog breeds, and trust me, you're gonna be shocked. The American Pit Bull Terrier is said to be one of the most masculine dogs, and they're known for always winning fights. They're now illegal to own in Canada, in Florida, and a bunch of other countries across the globe. The Japanese Tosa Inu is known to fight silently, meaning that when it's in combat, it doesn't even bark. It is now illegal to own in Denmark, Malta, and Norway. And finally, the Neapolitan Mastiff. This dog was actually used as a gladiator dog in the Roman Colosseum, and it's now illegal to own in the country of Singapore. Now let me know, would you want one of these dogs?
Male T-App just had a massive data breach. So this app called T on Her was a rival app to the T-App that was meant for men to talk about women. Now this app had you show your ID or selfie to show that you were indeed a male, and that was how you were accepted onto the app. Well, as it turns out, the T on Her app had the same exact security flaw as the original T app, and now everybody's data on there has been leaked. At the time of this breach, the T on Her app had over 50,000 users, so if you happen to be one of those, then your data was breached.
I want to ask the question, what do you think is the fastest man-made object ever made in history?
A bullet.
I'll guess a satellite. So, this is gonna blow your mind. Okay. So, the fastest man-made object in the world, and it's also the first man-made object to ever enter space. We sent something to space before Sputnik. Is something that we've made that goes 150,000 miles per hour. But I guarantee you've never heard of it because it's a manhole cover.
What?
Huh? A sewer manhole cover is the fastest man-made object to ever exist, and it's circling around in space, and here's how it happened. So in 1957, they're doing a ton of nuclear testing, right? And they did one where they dug this tunnel that was 3 feet wide and about 400 feet deep, right? So they're gonna blow this nuclear bomb. But on top of this tube, they have just a manhole cover. That's shot into space? This thing shoots up into space at 150,000 miles per hour. And is still to this day circling in space somewhere. It's the fastest man-made object that ever exists.
Legend says it's just past Saturn.
Yeah, for real.
I think young people need to drink more. I don't see drunkenness, I see togetherness.
Drink more alcohol.
Yeah, drink more. I think they need to get out and drink more. My advice to young people is to go out and drink more and make a series of bad decisions that might pay off. I think that we need more togetherness, more people, more sex, and more random encounters. And absolutely, people need to be in the company of strangers more and more. And I think young men are sequestering. We're turning into a different species of socially isolated, lonely people who become shitty citizens. And when Women don't have a romantic relationship, they reinvest in work and their friends. When men don't have a relationship, they tend to just go down a rabbit hole.
Well, if you're a stalker and you like to stalk other people's pages, you are not gonna like this. Instagram just did an update, and on their update, they added a map feature. You heard what I said, a map feature. Here, take a look at it. Read it for yourself. A new map feature allowing you to track and share locations with others, which basically means if you like to stalk people's pages or you're having some kind of internet thing with someone you're not supposed to, you're about to get caught. Here's just an example of what I'm talking about. You see right above right there under the map, nearby. It shows you exactly where people are so you can kind of communicate with those in your circle or in your neighborhood. Here's just another example of what I'm talking about.
It's dangerous.
For example, all these little dots on the map are either people that I'm following or people that are following me. And when they post, it shows their exact location. Hence the part where I said, some people on this app are now going to get themselves in a lot of trouble. So my suggestion to all is just turn the feature off, because this gets even more crazier, because if you actually zoom in really close on the person's image, it gives you the pinpoint exact location as to where they are. So I guess my question to you is, will you be turning it off, or will you be snooping around to see if people say they are where they are when they tell you they're going to be going someplace? Or are you just going to turn it off and just continue to use the app the way you have been? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always,
facts that will ruin your life. A different version of you exists in the minds of everyone who knows you. Nighttime is the natural state of the universe. Daytime is only caused by a nearby radiating ball of flame. The word mortgage comes from a French term that means death pledge, or a contract that only expires upon death. Over 50% of commercial pilots have all admitted to falling asleep while flying a plane. The sun may have exploded, and we wouldn't know it for at least 8 minutes. Hit the plus sign if these disturbed you.
The fact about the mortgage is basically saying it's come from a death term.
Here are some things that are completely normal during the day but really creepy at night. Digging holes in your backyard. I mean, it's your backyard and you're entitled to do whatever you want to it, but if I see you digging some holes in the middle of the night, I'm gonna be really concerned. Bonus creepy points if you have some trash bags next to you too. I feel bad for people who work graveyard shifts or are night owls because it makes it difficult to do any gardening or landscaping without looking pretty creepy. They say a child's laughter is one of the most beautiful sounds in the world, but not if it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Scary movies have absolutely ruined the sound of a child laughing for me, because most instances, I'm gonna assume the worst. And for some reason, little girls laughing are even more scary. Like, imagine being in the woods camping and you hear some little girl laughing in the distance. My brain isn't gonna think, oh cool, some family must be camping near us. No, I'm gonna think that I'm gonna get murdered or possessed by some demon. Someone knocking on your door during the day, it's annoying. Who the fuck is showing up at my house unannounced? It must be a salesman or worse, Mormons. That same knock at 3 in the morning? No, I'm getting murdered for sure. I'm on the 2nd floor, and my only way out is to jump out the window, so I'm done for.
People you never knew existed. This is Josephine Myrtle, and she was born with 4 legs and 2 sets of genitals. Despite having these conditions, she got married and had 5 kids. These are the only 2 men in the world who can speak the Ayapeneco language in Mexico. But they don't talk to each other because they have beef. Doctors were left stunned when this man came into the hospital complaining about chest pain. After a couple of scans, they realized he had 2 hearts. Jill Price has perfect memory of her life, and if you ask her what she ate for breakfast 20 years ago, she would get it right.
I think the thing that got me the most was when the girl, woman who had like 5 sets of freaking legs and genitals. Man, it's freaking mind blowing out here, bro. These people, man, you think wouldn't exist. It's like they're coming out of a freaking video game or something like that. Extraordinary people in this world. You gotta expand your mind.
What could be more terrifying than the thought of your own body setting itself on fire? For hundreds of years, this phenomenon has been the subject of scientific scrutiny as well as deep, deep mystery.
mystery: spontaneous human combustion. This is when the human body appears to ignite internally, a fire starting from within before the entire body becomes engulfed. This actually dates all the way back to the 1600s, and since then there have only ever been about 200 cases reported worldwide. In 1984, a scientific team was assembled led by Joe Nickell to investigate a number of these cases dating back to the 1800s. One of the unusual threads that was found between all of these cases was that with every body investigated, there seemed to be some trace of alcohol in the system. This gave way to the wick theory, suggesting that if alcohol was in the system and there was some kind of a chemical change that could ignite a fire, body fat could be used as an accelerant, making the mystery of this phenomenon one you should think about next time you're drinking.
That's why I don't even drink.
Is this a coincidence? Tree stump. Fingerprints.
Similar.
Tree branch. Human lungs. Leaf veins. Human veins.
Some chilling similarities.
Tree of life. Human placenta. Grass. Human hair. Tree roots. Human veins. River network. Human veins. Tree roots. Human nervous system. Thorn plant. Human spine.
Let me find out.
You were today years old.
Don't tell me we're just basically more evolved a version of a tree, man. The tree branches and the lugs, man. And they look similar. That's the grass and the human hair. It was eerie similar, bro. One time we were just basically a more evolved version of a tree.
Old when you found these out. If you want to heat up some food at night, microwaves have a silent mode. To activate the silent mode, all you have to do is hold down the one button. So you're driving a car, you need gas, but you don't know which side the tank is on. If you look on the dashboard, there's an arrow next to the gas tank indicating which side the gas tank is on. Surprisingly, the drawer under the oven isn't used to hold pots and pans. It's made to keep your food warm until you're ready to eat.
Wow.
Airplane windows actually have little holes in them to prevent the windows from fogging. These candies are called lifesavers because if a child accidentally chokes someone, they will still be able to breathe because of the hole in the middle.
Now I know where did they come from. What was the one that was a weird name for a candy? Lifesavers. Just an added seekers. Trees walking. Now, come on now.
Don't freak out, but this bug lives on your face. Demodex mites dig face first inside your pores. But don't freak out, they're harmless. They just eat your grease and dead skin on your face. But there is one thing you should be worried about. Don't cry, but they do wake up in the middle of the night to mate on your face. Yeah, now you know. But they're harmless. And they live on all of you. Live with it. Like if you want a part 2 of things you don't know that live on your body.
That my face right now? What the hell, bro?
This is what we know about the awful case of 16-year-old Shelby Binney. Shelby was a cheerleader at Bixby High School, and on Thursday night, her family was on their way home with her dad behind the wheel. He had reportedly been drinking, and according to her mom, they were also having a heated argument up in the front seat. At 70 miles per hour, he tried to pass another vehicle in a no-passing zone, and their SUV flipped. As we know, Shelby was tragically ejected from her family's vehicle on impact. A bystander immediately ran over to the scene, but there aren't even words for what happened next. Shelby's father was reportedly standing disoriented just outside of the crashed car, and when asked if anyone was hurt, he ran away. He left his 16-year-old daughter there to die on the pavement. Now, according to police, they were able to determine that Elliot had fled to a local family-owned business, and it was there that he got access to another car. They were able to electronically track that vehicle, and within 12 hours, they found him behind the wheel in a town about an hour away. It was obviously too late to give him a DUI test, but he was taken into custody. With Elliot's arrest, we know that while he tried to tell police he skidded on an oil spot, he's also also admitted to taking a few swigs of the vodka bottle that was found in the front seat. Today, Elliot is charged with first-degree manslaughter, but he has already posted his $100,000 bail. And as for Shelby's mom and her siblings, again, unfortunately, we don't know how they're doing now. Shelby is described as a bright light with a heart of gold and the best teammate you could ask for. If you would like to support her family during this time, the link will be in my bio.
People need to stop driving, man, when they're intoxicated. It's very simple.
Yeah, the hyena's a girl. So many may know, female hyenas have a fake meat hose that looks almost identical to the real thing. And for those that don't, actually, that's the lead. They have a pseudo-phallus that they give birth from, and yes, it's as traumatizing as you think, and yes, the very process of birth can end up doing the exact opposite for everyone involved. But low-key, having a built-in flesh strap might explain why hyenas are exactly the way they are. So for most animals, life pretty much comes down to the 3 F's: food, fights, and... So a lot of times when male animals run a fade, it's for the goal of female validation. A hyena's having a female 5th leg means they have a natural crotch block. It's basically anti-mating hardware that means the no-pants dance can only happen if she allows it. So unlike things like lions or bears, there's really no reason for male hyenas to want smoke with each other when getting it in is already RNG. Pun intended. And it's believed having coitus completely out of their control is why male hyenas are way less aggressive and even have less testosterone than the females. Meanwhile, the females are more on-go than a green light. And why hyena sisters are way more likely to put each other on a t-shirt. And with them being pack animals with a whole social ladder, the Walking Comedy Club had to become more aggressive just to give their cubs a chance at life. Matter of fact, that's probably why they have more testosterone. So yeah, moral of this video. Lion King did hyenas every type of dirty, but they got it right when they had Shenty giving orders. And now you know why.
Horses are much bigger
Just
than
registered.
people, so naturally they just have a lot more blood than we do. So whenever horses get nosebleeds, it ends up looking like a whole crime scene. So one of the only reasons we know how many people died in the Titanic are the shoes that are laying on the ocean floor. Some are pretty cool, others are kind of depressing. And the reason we count the shoes instead of, bones is because when the Titanic hit the floor, all the corpses kind of just scattered and the fish ate the corpses, but the fish couldn't eat the shoes. If you ever decide to go climb Mount Everest, I hope that you remember that the crevices in the ice are V-shaped. Which means if you were to ever accidentally fall down one, you more than likely wouldn't die instantly. Your body heat would melt the ice around you, causing you to slip further and further down until your chest couldn't expand enough to breathe. So make sure you bring a friend just as crazy as you to help get you out.
Mount Everest, one of the most deadliest places ever. I don't think I'm gonna go there, man. You might have to pay me. I had too many stories about that mountain.
The murder
needs to be
of
reopened.
Chick-fil-A Marie
Simple.
has to be my favorite case of all time. Like, I actually get butterflies in my stomach every time I revisit this case. I'm just so fascinated by the killer. He was so dedicated. He was gorgeous. Super, super dreamy. Like, if he wasn't behind bars, I would probably be with him. And just how dedicated he was to chopping her into bits and pieces. I mean, he really had no remorse, and we almost have to appreciate that. Like, the fact that he carried this chainsaw around for miles and miles, and after chopping her up, it just wasn't enough that he decided to also set on fire. I'm like, there's something hot about that. Siri, play "This Girl Is on Fire." We can make jokes now, guys. It's been a long time. The best part about this is that this killer had no remorse. During the court hearing, he actually sat and looked her family members dead in the eyes. Dead, get it, guys? And he actually just laughed the entire time. And you know what? I can appreciate a man who doubles down. Also, disclaimer before people get their panties in a twist, I'm being super, super respectful of the family. I'm only sharing things that I've seen already on the internet, so I'm not making things up. These are just facts, and I just wanted to share that with you guys.
Here are some facts that you...
Nah, some of those we can choke. You can't break the case down like that, man. Like, there's too much. She's just a little bit too happy to explain what was going on, man. But she said from a POV, so obviously she was just doing, I guess, what some other people be doing when they breaking down cases, but that ain't the way to do it.
You were never taught that could legitimately save your life one day. So listen the fuck up. If there is a random smell of fish in your house when you haven't had fish, obviously, how do I put this? Get the fuck out! Because this is most likely a sign of an electrical fire. If someone you know is having a heart attack and you need to give them aspirin, be sure they chew it before they swallow it because it makes it work faster. If you are outside or high up or whatever, and you not only hear a crunchy crickling noise in the sky, also your hair starts to randomly stand up like it's static, you need to run, because you, my friend, are about to get struck by lightning. If you are in the pool and the pool water starts tasting metallic, first piece of advice, stop drinking pool water. Second,
Get the fuck out, because there's most likely an electrical short somewhere in the water. Finally, bats are the best place to hide during a tornado. So grab your rubber ducky and wait it out. It's a big deal. If you didn't know any of these, you have to share it. And all with me now.
This is the
You
scary
learn anything new,
truth about
Seekers?
Mars. So everybody knows humans are trying to get people to live on Mars, especially Elon Musk. But none of these people ever tell you this scary truth about the red planet Mars. Mars is actually famous for its dust storms, and they have the largest sandstorms in the entire solar system. These storms can last for months, and these storms just don't stick to one area. These storms actually engulf the entire planet of Mars, and the winds can reach up to 60 miles per hour. These sandstorms can also block the sun, which would just start a domino effect of problems. So, if us humans actually make it to Mars, one of these storms can just kill us all and just ruin all the years of hard work to get there.
So why they want us to go to Mars then? If they know this information. I'm starting to think it's a setup. Those people going to Mars might be a trap, man. The more you know, Seekers. You gotta stay on Earth, man. I never even knew that until I watched these clips with you guys, bro. That's why I was always expanding my mind.
This is the dirtiest man in the world.
Mhm.
Malhaji is in his 80s and he hasn't bathed for over 60 years. He leads a nomadic lifestyle in Iran, and his favorite food is rotten porcupine, and he smokes animal feces out of a pipe. He believes that cleanliness will bring him sickness, and he says the thought of taking a bath after all this time makes him angry.
Don't go 60 years without
Now I know we all
freaking
love
taking
the
a
thought of
shower.
little old E.T. coming to visit Earth, making his entrance like, hello. But maybe that isn't such a good idea for, you know, fucking humanity. Actually, a lot of scientists hope that the universe is completely empty. We're so lonely. The theoretical Great Filter is fucking terrifying. The scientists have calculated that there should be at least 20 civilizations in our galaxy alone. So, E.T., where the fuck are you? Come home to Tatty. Or a more terrifying question, what happened to them? That is what scientists are asking. The Great Filter. The belief that somewhere along life's trajectory, life suddenly goes, you know what, nah, fuck you all. Completely wiping it out before it becomes too intelligent. An inevitable, unavoidable phenomenon. It's different to every civilization. It could be disease. We have enough fucking that. Nuclear power, AI, no wait, no, too soon. Or one of these fucking things. Now there's two options. One, we're already ahead of the Great Filter. We survived or did the undoable, making us very rare. Or we're behind it, still yet to face our challenge that we most likely won't survive. And we won't see it coming. Elon!
You guys think we made it past the Great Filter yet? I don't know. What the hell were those things walking? Can't even explain that.
Kids have ever said. A man's mother passed away in a car accident when he was 6 years old. When his 2-year-old daughter saw a picture of her grandmother for the first time, she laughed. He asked her, "What's so funny?" She looked at him and said, "That's my special friend who sings to me." A man's 3-year-old daughter stood next to her newborn brother and looked at him for a while. She turned back to her dad and said, "Daddy, it's a monster. We should bury it." A woman and her 4-year-old son were out in public when all of a sudden he starts rubbing on her belly and talking to it. She asked what he was doing, and he said, "I'm talking to the baby." She informed him politely that she was not pregnant, and then he said, "There is a baby in your belly. I just saw it crawl across the floor and climb up into you." A woman's 5-year-old asked when he was going to be 23 years old. She told him in 18 years. He replied, "Well, I hope I don't die again, because that's how old I was the last time I went to heaven." Follow for more of the...
That last one. Chilling. Like he caught a glimpse of his past life where he knew. You saw clips before about kids talking about past lives and it was true, so.
This is real footage that was accidentally captured by a group of scientists that were looking for an old library. They found an ancient cult that had been around for thousands of years, using teeth as their form of currency.
This elusive cult has rarely ever been captured on camera. You see, this cult wears masks to hide their identity, as well as hooded cloaks that are either red or black, and worship a god called Winfred Stitch. And that's why this cult is called the Stitch Veneration. They can often be found at music concerts, and only one musician called Covey is known to be a Stitcher, with the Stitch symbol tattooed on his hand, and fans wear masks to all of the shows.
It's right in front of our eyes. We ain't even paying attention.
I want to go ahead and I want to discuss this Instagram story and what makes this diabolically creepy. So I'm not going to give the name. I blocked everything out because clearly they want to remain anonymous. Context is that somebody clearly broke into their old school. I don't know if it was their middle school, high school, whatever it was. And they posted this to their story, but pretty soon after, people started commenting about what they see in the background. You zoom in just a little bit, you would see that this person was not alone in that classroom. But before we take a deeper look at that photo, a huge thank you to Spyfly for bringing me this story. If you want to look up something about somebody, you go to Spyfly. How to become this one-stop shop where you can do background reports, you can look at arrest records, you can even do reverse phone lookup. Spyfly.com is going to be the place to do it. You can check the link in my bio for more details. So back to this photo. I don't know if you can see this, but there is definitely somebody crouching in the background of this classroom. And if you still doubt me, I zoomed in and enhanced the picture for you.
Damn.
This is John List.
I saw it.
In 1971, he murdered his entire immediate family before escaping and starting a completely new life that he lived for more than 17 years before he was eventually caught. This is a wild story. I covered it on the latest episode of my podcast, but here's an overview. In 1951, John List married Helen Taylor, and together they had 3 children, Patricia, John Frederick, and Frederick. List had served in the Army and was an accountant with a successful career working as a comptroller for a bank in Jersey City, New Jersey. The family lived in a 19-room mansion in Westfield, New Jersey called Breeze Knoll. And the 5 of them, along with John's mother Alma, who was also living with them, were swimming in space there. The family seemed to have a happy life here. It seemed like John was successful, and they weren't super social, but everything seemed fine. The kids were popular and hardworking, and nobody knew anything bad about the family. Behind closed doors, things were not as they seemed. Helen was an alcoholic and was extremely ill from contracting syphilis from her first husband. And John List had lost his job at the bank. But instead of telling his family, he basically went to work every day pretending that he was going to his job and coming home after work hours. And he started skimming money off of his mother's bank account to help pay the mortgage. But then on November 9th, 1971, John List would do the unthinkable. That morning, he dropped the kids off at school and returned home. And when he got home, he took out one of his guns, approached his wife of almost 20 years, and shot her in the back of the head. He then went up to the attic apartment where his 84-year-old mother lived and shot her as well. When 16-year-old Patricia and 13-year-old Frederick arrived home from school, List attacked them from behind, shooting them each in the back of the head. List then made himself some lunch. He went into the bank and closed both him and his mother's accounts, and then he went to Westfield High School where he watched his middle son, John Frederick, play a soccer game. After the game, he drove 15-year-old John Frederick home. And when they got home, he attacked. John Frederick tried to fight back, but unfortunately he ended up succumbing to multiple gunshot wounds. List then placed the bodies of Helen, Patricia, John Frederick, and Frederick on top of sleeping bags in the mansion's ballroom. He left Alma up in the attic apartment because she was too heavy to drag down. He then wrote a letter to his pastor confessing what he had done, and he wrote letters to the kids' schools saying that they would be gone visiting a sick relative for a few weeks so nobody would suspect them missing. Then he walked around the house and removed every single photo of himself from all of the photo albums. Finally, he started piping religious music throughout the home, and then he left. By the time the bodies were discovered a month later, John List was long gone. And while he was the immediate main suspect in the murders, police didn't have a lot to go on, and they were unable to circulate a recent photo of him because he had removed every single photo of himself from inside the house. The family's car was found at JFK Airport, but John List went undetected for almost 18 years. Part 2.
This woman was left blind after her ex threw acid on her face, but then she forgave him and then married him. This is the story of Berfine Ozek. She was 18 years old when her ex-boyfriend threw acid on her face after she ended their relationship. Kasim Ozan had threatened Berfine multiple times before, but on January 2019, he waited until she left her house and he attacked her. She suffered severe burns, permanent disfigurement, as you can see in these photos, and she lost her vision in one eye. Kasim was arrested and was sentenced to 13 years and 6 months in prison, and Berfine initially testified against him, but things quickly changed. Absolutely no one expected this, but while Kasim was in prison, he wrote letters to Berfine. He apologized and expressed his love for her, and that's when eventually Berfine withdrew her complaint and stated that she still loved him and that she forgave him. Then in 2021, Kasim was released from prison early, and a year later, Berfine and Kasim got married. And of course, people were so upset and even concerned that this woman was being manipulated, and others just thought that she settled with this man because no one else would love her because of how she looked. Her own family also tried to stop her from marrying this evil man, but she insisted, and apparently they cut ties with her.
Shaphilia, could you guys forgive a person like that? Poured acid on your face and we got married to them? That's one of the wildest things I've heard yet, watching these clips together with you guys, Seekers.
Ahmed was murdered by her parents because she was becoming too westernized. Let's talk about it. Now, Shaphilia actually was brought up in the UK but had Pakistani roots, and one day her family says, "We're taking you to Pakistan to get an arranged marriage with your cousin." She was terrified, and her dad drugged her with sleeping pills and put her on the flight anyways. When she woke up, she was so scared that she attempted beach, and this would result in her spending the next 2 months in the hospital before returning to the UK. Her parents then plotted an honor killing where they shoved a plastic bag into her mouth to suffocate her in front of her siblings, and they told the siblings, "If you tell anyone about this, you will be killed next." Then they dumped her body into a river and reported to the police that she had ran away. 5 months later, the police discover the body and realize it's her. The parents play dumb, and it's not until her little sister goes and tells the police what the parents had done. They got sentenced to 25 years without parole.
Death Note was bad in Russia and China? That's the only anime I know off that list.
I passed away trying to put a TV in my stomach.
My name is Poe. I am one of the Teletubbies.
Before all the sunshine and happiness, there was darkness and loneliness. We were 4 children, stuck living in a Bulgarian mental facility they called La La Land, where psychotic children were secretly being experimented on. They isolated the 4 of us into our own dark rooms. Lala, the yellow Teletubby, was a child with a facial disfigurement, making her face stuck in a smile. Dipsy, the green tabby, was a malnourished child that was constantly sick.
Tinky Winky, the purple tabby, was a deaf child who got tied to a fence and suffered frostbite. And me, Poe, I fell into a fire when I was young.
Our only source of comfort in our facility was the little television in our rooms.
But as part of an experiment, they told us they were going to take them away. We could not bear losing them, so we came up with the idea to try and hide them in our stomach. But they were too big to swallow, so we attempted to cut a pathway for them in our stomach and put the television inside,
which costed us our life.
One of the biggest mysteries in history has finally been solved. Alright, firstly, in 1915, explorer Ernest Shackleton and his crew set off for a voyage to explore Antarctica. However, before they could make it to Antarctica, the ship they were on, known as the Endurance, got trapped and crushed by the ice. Now, with no other options left, all of the members on board had to navigate a lifeboat hundreds of miles to safety. This journey to safety, all of the crew survived many storms, even one being a hurricane, until they got onto a rescue boat. Even though they failed to get to Antarctica, this became a famous story because they didn't let a setback crush their spirit. But for over a century, the biggest mystery was, where did the ship end up? And believe it or not, but in 2022, the ship was actually discovered, and they were so close to where they wanted to be. It was found 2 miles underwater, and because of the frigid temperatures, it was actually pretty well preserved.
They were so close. They were like right there.
Terrible crimes that were solved by pure coincidence. On April 28, 1997, Zephany Nurse was born, and she was placed in a nearby crib while her mother Celeste slept, but when Celeste awoke, her daughter was missing. Police searched the hospital, but nothing of note was found. In fact, no progress was made in the case for nearly 2 decades. However, when Celeste's next oldest daughter Cassidy started classes at a new school in 2014, she met Michelle Solomon. The girls quickly struck up a close friendship, and many people commented on the resemblance to one another. So much so that when Cassidy introduced Michelle to her mom Celeste, she instantly contacted the police. When Michelle's alleged parents couldn't provide proof of her birth, a DNA test was conducted and it was confirmed that Michelle was actually Zephany Nurse, Celeste's missing daughter. The kidnapper LaVonna Solomon was later convicted in the abduction case and sentenced to 10 years in prison.
So she met like her sister at school and they became best friends?
Any other dolls? Are you connected in any other way to other haunted dolls?
Everybody against you. Me and the devil. Walking side by side.
This is what they meant when they said, don't talk to strangers. In the early 1900s, a 10-year-old boy was playing in the woods when a tall man appeared and asked if he wanted to come back to his cabin for dinner. Totally caught off guard, the boy reluctantly agrees and begins walking. When they get to the cabin, the boy is relieved when he sees Paul, a family friend, sitting on the porch, so the boy happily goes inside. After they eat, the boy says thank you to the strange tall man, says bye to Paul, and then he leaves. He had only walked a few steps when he sees his family, along with Paul, running up the path towards him, frantically asking if he was okay. Confused, the boy says, I'm just fine, and he looks at Paul and he's like, why didn't you tell them I was with you at the cabin? And he points over his shoulder. Paul glances over the boy's shoulder and then narrows his eyes and says, you were kidnapped by a cult 3 days ago. No one's seen you. Terrified, the boy turns around to look at the cabin he just came from, and it's gone. All he sees is a dark forest that stretches for miles.
So he was gone for 3 days and he didn't even know? They had to do something to him, right?
Let's be financially responsible! I can't stop winning! I can't stop winning! I can't stop winning! I can't stop winning! I can't stop winning!
Why? If you haven't got it just yet, try listening to this again and it should click.
I ain't watching any of those
The
reason why! Hit the plus for part 2.
If I ever go missing, I hope these are the first people to come looking for me. The Midnight Order was formed by Dr. Sasha Reed, who's established one of the largest databases in the world on serial killers. She's
just now surfaced. Johnson was pulled over in July of 2021 for a routine traffic stop. It was during that time that authorities said they smelled the unmistakable odor of decomposition. In addition to that, the officer says that they saw maggots in a bag. Eventually, the suspect removed a blanket from a suitcase-like object and revealed her 7-year-old niece deceased. After that, authorities said they then found the remains of a second child in a bag. They were then identified as her 5- and 7-year-old niece and nephew. The suspect claimed that she was taking care of them for her mother because the mother could not. However, after further investigation, it turns out that the mother tried to pick up her children, but the suspect never returned with them. Authorities said that the 7-year-old niece had been deceased for over a year. The suspect said that they were staying at a motel in May of 2020. It was there that she struck the girl and made her fall and hit her head. She then stated she kept the 7-year-old in the car for months. She claims her 5-year-old nephew sustained an injury 2 months prior to the traffic stop and never woke up. She then put him in a bag next to his sister. On February 10th of this year, she was sentenced to 50 years in prison. To stay up to date on this case, make sure you click the playlist below. I'll keep you guys updated. What do you think? Drop in the comments.
The body cam footage of this woman's arrest has gone viral right now, and if you haven't seen it, just stay tuned. Nicole Johnson was sentenced to 50 years in prison for the unaliving of her nephew and her niece. According to reports, she gained custody of the kids in 2019 due to her sister not being able to take care of them at the time. Now the children, Jocelyn and Larry, moved from Dayton, Ohio, all the way to Maryland. Her sister assumed that her kids were in good hands, and she later tried to connect with her kids, but her sister would never let her. Each time she would make an excuse saying the kids are asleep, and then at some point she just stopped answering the phone. However, in 2021, she was stopped for a traffic violation for driving over the speed limit. The cop then ran her plates and said that her plates were not found and that she needed to sit down, take her stuff out the car, and wait for the tow truck. It was at that point the police officers noticed a foul stench and made her open all of her suitcases and luggages. It was there that they saw a little girl who was unalived and decomposing. According to Nicole, she beat her until she was unalived, and she passed away in 2020. Now, the little boy Larry, he passed away months before the traffic stop, so she just said that he fell asleep and never woke up. Although the coroner found a big gash on his leg, she would not give any more information. How could an aunt be so cruel and drive around with these little babies' bodies and not even seek help? The police officer who did find the kids' bodies was crying and trying to gain composure, but he couldn't. Many of them were praying at the scene, but what do you all think about the story? Let me know in the comment section below.
This killer accidentally admitted to his crimes by accident when he forgot he was wearing a microphone while taking part in a documentary. This is how a true crime documentary exposed a killer. In 1971, Robert Durst met Kathleen McCormack and they got married. At the time of her disappearance in 1982, Kathleen had nearly graduated college. She was last seen by a witness at a dinner party where she appeared to be upset. She got a call from Robert and left. Robert admitted to having argued with Kathleen that night, but he said he put her on a train to New York and then never saw her again. Her friend called police to report her missing. Interestingly, Kathleen had been treated at a medical centre for facial bruises weeks prior to this and told the friend that Robert had done it. Robert had actually been dating someone else for some time prior to this and had been living separately to Kathleen. When her family broke into her cottage to try and find out where she was, they found the place had been trashed and her possessions put in the bin. Kathleen's family always believed that Robert was involved in her disappearance. In 2000, Susan Berman, a friend of Robert's, was found murdered. Now, she'd actually provided Robert with an alibi for Kathleen's disappearance. Now, pay really close attention to this next bit. Days after she was killed, a letter addressed to the Beverly Hills Police Department contained Susan's address and the word cadaver on it. On the envelope, Beverly was misspelled. Robert admitted in 2005 that Susan had called him shortly before her death to say that the police wanted to question her about Kathleen going missing. It's believed that Robert killed Susan to keep her quiet. In 2001, Robert's neighbour's body parts were found floating in Galveston Bay. Robert's elderly neighbour, Morris Black, had been killed and Robert was arrested. He was actually released on bail and fled and was found about a month later in Pennsylvania. He was found with $37,000 cash, 2 weapons, and interestingly, Morris Black's driving license. In court, Robert claimed he was acting in self-defense. He said he'd accidentally shot Morris and dismembered his body. Due to lack of forensics, he only got 5 years in jail. This is where things get really crazy. HBO was filming a documentary called The Jinx. During production, Susan's stepson found a letter written by Robert. This contained the same spelling error in the word Beverly as the anonymous letter to police. This implicated Robert in the murder. Now, while filming the documentary, Robert needed the toilet. He forgot that he had a microphone still attached to him. He was recorded talking to himself. He said, "There it is, you're caught. You're right, of course, but you can't imagine. Arrest him." And then he said, "What a disaster. He was right. I was wrong." And finally he said, "I'm having difficulty with the question. What the hell did I do? Killed them all, of course."
You got caught in 4K, man. A part of the documentary, and he still had the mic on.
This reality TV star is charged with murdering, dismembering, and setting her ex on fire. And police want your help because his head is still missing. Tamika Chesler is a 34-year-old reality TV star who shot to fame over a decade ago on the Australian version of Beauty and the Geek. It's essentially a reality TV show where they kind of pair up very beautiful women with very intelligent guys and they make them do challenges. She then went on to do a lot of like glamour modeling work. In the show, she honestly seemed like a normal, nice, sweet girl, but what she's accused of is absolutely horrific. She had been living with her partner, Julian Story, in Port Lincoln. He was 39 years old and neighbours described him as kind to everyone. This all came to light on the 19th of June, just after 3 p.m, when a small fire could be seen coming from her home. Curious, a neighbour popped round to investigate and found honestly the most horrifying scene you could ever imagine. Julian's badly burned, disfigured remains were in full view, lay in the apartment. He was missing his head. Tamika was also found just outside of the property in the garden in a, quote, catatonic, unresponsive state. This poor neighbour immediately called police, obviously, and Tamika was arrested. They then obviously had to piece together exactly what had happened here. They scoured CCTV from the local area and found haunting images of Tamika wearing a black cloak, walking around with her dogs between the 17th and the 19th of June. She could be seen carrying a plastic bag, but it wasn't clear exactly what was in that bag. Police alleged that she killed Julian at their home and then decapitated him and set him on fire. Although searches have taken place, like I said, the police are still looking for his head, which is yet to be found. Tamika is charged with murder, destruction or disposal of human remains to obstruct justice, and assaulting a police or emergency worker, so I'm assuming she kicked off when she was arrested. She is currently being held in a psychiatric facility.
He was found stuck inside of a chimney after missing for 7 years. 18-year-old Joshua Maddox lived in Woodland Park, Colorado, and had a love for nature. He had a free spirit, carefree attitude, and it was pretty normal for him to just get out and go for a walk. On May 8th of 2008, Joshua told his sister Kate that he was going to go outside for a walk. She didn't think much of it because this is something that he would always do, but later that day, his family noticed that he never came back home. They started to worry because this was out of the ordinary for Joshua. His parents waited several days before contacting the police, and on May 15th, his father is the one who called and reported him as missing. The search for Joshua went on for months, including authorities, family members, and friends searching around the area. But as time went on, people started losing hope of finding Joshua. Joshua's sister Kate hoped that her brother just left town, started a new life, and that nothing had happened to him. At this time, many were speculating that maybe he ran away due to not being able to deal with his brother's death just 2 years prior. His family didn't want to believe that Joshua was a runaway, so they listed him as missing. 7 years later, in 2015, a man named Chuck Murphy was demolishing his old wood cabin so he could make room for a property development. The cabin had not been used for years, it smelled rotten, and while they were trying to demolish it, inside of the chimney they found a mummified body. Yes, this body belonged to Joshua Maddox. He was found cramped into a fetal position with his legs above his head. And the sad part is, he was only 1 mile away from his home. A coroner believed that Joshua was climbing down the chimney to get inside of that cabin when he got stuck. His death was ruled as an accidental death, but Chuck, the owner of the cabin, said that this was impossible. He had installed a heavy wire gate across the chimney so that raccoons and other stuff wouldn't be able to get inside. The case was opened up again, and they were trying to figure out if foul play was involved. A major clue that wasn't discussed as much is that Joshua was found only wearing a thermal t-shirt. Inside of the cabin lay the rest of his clothes, including his shoes and socks, so it didn't make sense that he was climbing down the chimney if he was already inside the cabin. Joshua's death was once again disclosed as an accident, but Chuck was convinced it was no accident. There was also a main suspect who saw Joshua the last time he was alive, but since 7 years passed by, it was hard to get information from him. To this day, Joshua's death remains unsolved.
Man, one day you just go out for a walk and you could just disappear. The world is a scary place, man. I don't know why she was screaming at us. We ain't do nothing to her. He was about to rage out, Seekers. If you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support. Make sure you guys follow me on all my social medias. The links are in the description down below. Hit that thumbs up button. Also, don't forget to hit that post notification bell so you always get notified when I upload my next videos. You guys are going to catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.